Hi guys, we have already covered the basic functions, and in this lesson we are going to learn the lambda function, which is a very useful tool while working with pandas or numpy libraries of Python. Let's first create the Python new file and call it lambda, and then we will explain them. First, lambda. Okay, what's the lambda function? Lambda function is an inline, easy-to-use function that can have multiple arguments with only one expression, and these functions are defined without the name, without the keyword. Let's, before explaining it, create the basic functions that we have already explained in the previous lessons. Let's see that I have a variable 10, and here I want to define the function here. The name of the function could be mult, and this one will be y colon. I will return the result like y multiplied by y, and here I will call the function itself by bringing in this variable value here x. This one brings this one, and this one takes this x here. They should be or could be different, but that's not compulsory. You can even type in x here, but in order to avoid misconceptions, always try to change these parameters with these ones, because this one's not only going to be equal to these parameters here. The result is 100, and how we should use the lambda function for printing out the same result here or making the same functionality here. Okay, first explain the lambda function. I have explained it. Let's do it in practice. Let's say that I have a variable called hello variable, and just declaring the lambda function here and print out what the result, hello world, right? And delete this curly bracket here. If I click enter, it will not print anything here, but if I want to print it out, I would use the hello as a function here, and it will print out the result here. I can call this as a lambda function because it's printing out the result in a function way. Let's create another just lambda function. Let's see that I have a user, and here I will create a lambda here and the username, and here I will print out what header, and here I will type in the name, variable name here. This will print out this variable name with the header, and now I will have to call this lambda function by defining the name itself. How should I do this? I will type into the user here, and now I will print out like it. If I click enter, it will print out the result. Let's make some math calculations with this lambda function. Let's see that I have a y equals to 2, and now I want to declare this lambda function to the variable here z and make it work for this y here. Y plus, for example, 18, or y multiplied by y, does not matter because we have already explained this one. That's why I want to make the same output here. And if I print out there, it will not give me the result, but it will say that the function already works here. But here I will do what? I will include the parameter itself, y, and run it. It will print out the result, and for or number 110, it will print out what? 100 here. And as I said before, we are doing what? We are just defining the parameters, colon, and whatever value you are intended here. Let's make another calculation. Let's say that I want to assign two values to the variables here. X, y will be 5 and 6 respectively, and here I will give a variable name and lambda keyword here, and assign these variables here as parameters. This is the compulsory here. All these values should be declared here. And now I will put in whatever I wanted, x plus y, this one, minus or plus 100, right? And I will call all of them here. I will include the both parameters in order to call it. If I click enter, you could see 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. 11 plus 100 is equal to 111. Lambda function can take any number of arguments. You can add how many arguments you want here. That's not the problem. Let's say that I want one more argument here. I will define this as a z, and here I will have to include it again like the z, and here minus z, right, minus z plus 100. And while calling to, you should include the parameter here again. It will say that unsupport operand type for int, and function. Why we would have this kind of error? Because this is a syntax error. We should call what the value, we should assign the value here. You could see the result is 103, all of them, plus 5 plus 6, 11, minus z 8 to 2, and plus 3 and plus 100 is equal to 103. Lambda also works combined with list and map functions, but we will cover them in the next lectures. Don't worry about it. In this lecture we are just explaining the basic syntax of lambda function itself. Let's just do one more explanation and use the map function combined with the basic function that we have already explained in the previous lesson. Let's say that I have a function called def. My function will be the name of the function, and could be the parameter, and I will call it here like my function. And now I want to print out what the value here. L will be the variable, lambda, and n, it has taken this argument, this parameter here, and I want to print it whole. I want to print it like multiplied by 7, for example. I just am explaining the way of using the lambda function with this, the basic function itself here. First, I will have to print it out here. L print L, and this value could be returned as it is here. It should be included here. If I click enter, it will say that one required position argument here. If I delete this one, it will not work again. But if I add here something like 2 as a parameter, it will multiply this 2 to the 7 here, because it needs this parameter to be multiplied by 7 here. You can even add one more. You can add one more time here by calling this function for 4. If you print it out, you could see that the result will be 20. That's it for now. I think that this video was really helpful for you in explaining the lambda function itself. Thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel. Have a good day. Bye.